Here is the problem with only hearing one story. If you're a subscriber, you might be surprised why I came back, why I reactivated my channel, and why I'm talking about someone that I used to work with. As some of you might know, I used to work with a cartoon YouTuber, Cosmodore. I made stills and official art for him, and we were mutuals on social media. Some of you probably heard he was recently called out by Daft Pina of being a groomer, and if you didn't know, you know now. What you might not know is that I was his victim. Yes, it was me the whole time, and I've been trying for about a year now to keep this as secret as possible. But Cosmo keeps pushing me at my limit and begging the internet for forgiveness and straight up lying to people's faces in every response he's made. He's had way more opportunities to speak up about his story than I have about mine. And I had to leave out stuff in Daft Pina's video to protect my identity, because I really did not want people to know that this was me. I simply wanted to move on and continue doing what I like and living a normal life. I don't want to be recognized as the victim of Cosmodore or the person that accused Cosmodore of being this thing. And Cosmo knows this. He knows I can't speak for myself, because otherwise I'd be risking my reputation and mental health. But now I am, and I'm going to put an end to all of his lies and tell you the full extent of his abuse on me. Before you continue watching, you have to make some promises for me. Do not try to contact me by any means. I do not want any form of pity, apology, or harassment of anyone by any means. I just want this to be done with. 2. Do not try and find my social media or anywhere I am online. It's already stressful and triggering enough to do this, and I don't want people to follow me or know me for any of this. Do not harass or contact Cosmo or anyone involved or anyone that I mentioned at all. This video might be monetized. The reason is I live in a poor family and neither of my parents have jobs at the moment. My family and I are in need of financial support, especially when I go off to college. If you want to support me, just continue watching this video. Do not message me on any means of messaging app or social media. Just, if you want to support me, just continue watching the video. That's all. Like, I don't want anything else. I don't want to bring this up again. And finally, number 5, Cosmo, who I know, is definitely watching this because of how often he stalks up and creeps on me. Don't you dare try to contact or comment or send money to my PayPal. I've already had panic attacks seeing your Sona and hearing your voice. I literally had to watch someone's response video to you to hear what you said, because trying to watch your video was too traumatizing for me to listen to. As I said before, his abuse goes way beyond what Daft Pina talked about in his video. I admittedly had to withhold information from him so as to not reveal my or anyone else's identity. Every time Cosmo has made another apology or response to this situation, he's in and out of claiming he didn't know my age. This is completely untrue. This is an entire fabrication, an entire lie. He knew my age from the very beginning, and like he admitted in the video, he fell in love with me before we even met. I remember him telling me He found me through my copying kitty dog video or Turkey Tom, one of those. Yeah, like he either found me because I drew Turkey Tom stills, or because one of my videos got into my recommendations, which was the animating like kitty dog video. It all began from there, and he started targeting me from that point. By the way, I actually recommend watching Daft's video before this, so you have a more general idea. This video is just mostly how Cosmo abused me, but Daft goes into other stuff. Okay, anyone watching, listen to my voice. Can you guess my age based on how I sound? Place an age you'd guess just by hearing me. 13, 10, 9. Maybe I sound more like a little boy now, but you get my point, as my cadence and pitch is very similar to that of a young child. And this is especially the case like a year ago and years ago when I made videos. I made several videos using my own voice, and any subscriber of me would know and remember these. The number one most common comment I got is that I sounded like a child. I couldn't avoid it. I was always made fun of for it. I even had my age plastered all over my social media, Newgrounds and DeviantArt specifically. There is no way Cosmo did not know my age, or at least assume I was very young. I'm 17 as of now, and I was 15 when Cosmo found me. We were even in a call together watching Kim Possible's live action movie before he started to hit on me. So his narrative that he never knew my age is groundbreakingly a manipulative and scummy lie. I bet you he heard my very childlike and monotonous voice and assumed I was even younger, like most people. I've never met a single person online who has guessed my age correctly or above the actual age that I was. There are still re-uploads of my videos online if you want to hear my voice from back then. Just search Pasteloween re-upload to YouTube. Or maybe I'll put my videos back on public again, just so you can confirm the dates. But yeah, if you want to hear my voice from back then and just hear how young I sounded, there are re-uploads, and you can go and find them now if you want to. Before he asked me to be his girlfriend, he made an entire plan to get his friends, Mark and unnamed friend 1. I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to be named, so I'm just calling her unnamed friend 1, to talk about him to me. Cosmo told them that he was in love with me and would try to get me to talk about him more and imply we would be a cute couple. Eventually, Cosmo asked me if I wanted to be his girlfriend, and I naively said yes. My friends and Cosmo eventually admitted to me that it was all planned, and I did feel betrayed a bit, but at the time I didn't get too mad because I was convinced Cosmo was the one for me. Also, I've never been in a relationship before, so I have no experience. Cosmo claims that he was extremely lonely and desperate to be with anyone, and I don't think that's necessarily untrue. If you think about it, it's way easier to get younger people to be in a relationship with someone older because children's and teens' minds are underdeveloped and have less experience in life. And that, my friends, is exactly what grooming is. As a young teenager that has never been in a relationship or even had a real crush on someone before, I don't have as much of the incentive to say no to such an offer than someone his age would. I wanted to feel grown up and mature by being with an adult. I wanted to feel important and cool. and this greasy man-child across the country took advantage of that.
What I want to stress, though, is that I did not fall for them because of, but despite their age, and because I was extremely lonely and desperate for anyone to be with me.
I'm sorry, romantically? Well, I had just a splendid night, Janice. You're so romantic.
I've never been in a relationship, and I was extremely confused. So I told Cosmo to not do anything sexual, even though he technically did prior when he sent me the extreme porn. Porn which also included underage characters. So yeah, let's talk about him sending porn to me. This happened before we were in a relationship and before I knew he had feelings for me and was obsessing over me. In the comments section of Nani's video she made recently, Cosmo broke his pitiful "woe is me" character and got very defensive and angry in the comments section before deleting all of them. Among these comments, he claimed I was the one who sent porn to him first. For one, this is not true. And even if it was, this is not an invitation for an adult to send porn to a child. I have all the screenshots here, and even though they are censored, trigger warning for NSFW, fetish NSFW, and NSFW that contains underage characters. Know that these were not censored when he sent them to me. If you're a minor or don't wish to see these, pause this video and go to the timestamp I have edited in. The only thing I did was send suggestive images back, or really poorly drawn MS Paint Rule 34 drawings that I thought was funny. The internet normalized sharing explicit images to me, so at the time I did not recognize this as a red flag because I was very young and naive. I sent him screenshots of drawings of various cringe culture videos that were in a sexual nature because it was popular to make fun of that at the time, because I just thought it was funny. The stuff he sent back was very disturbing. But even if I was the one who sent him the porn first, that's literally not an invitation to send stuff back or to be sexual with a minor. He should have told me to stop or not insinuate the conversation. If what Cosmo claims is even true, which it isn't. Here are the screenshots. I took these from Twitter. Unfortunately, there were probably more comments he left, but no one had the chance to screenshot them before he deleted all of them. Currently, Cosmo is using the excuse that in Germany, the age of consent is 14 and that this quote-unquote normalized the large age gap relationships because 14-year-olds aren't considered children in Germany. He didn't even bother to mention the age of consent in my country, of course, which I'll get into in a bit. But also, think critically of this claim and use common sense. I don't know much about Germany, but I'm 99% sure it's not normal for adults to just constantly have sex with teens and have them frequently be sexualized and considered adults. Also, what normal person goes looking at a teenager and making sure they're at least the age of consent so they can fuck them? Like, normal adults are attracted to other adults, and teenagers are attracted to other teenagers. I genuinely don't know how the legality of the age of consent can culturally influence you to the point where people unanimously agree that it's okay for you to date a minor. I've also noticed a few people in the comments section of various videos related to Cosmo or Cosmodore that they live in Germany and that they didn't even know the age of consent was 14. Like, that was new information to them. It's like literally not something that they think about that often. So sure, I guess Germany really did normalize huge age gap relationships to you. Yeah, Cosmo, that's super good hardcore claim right there. That was sarcasm, by the way. And finally, I can talk about the age of consent in my country. Despite popular belief, I'm not German. I don't live in Germany. Cosmo's intentionally being vague as to not disclose my location to imply I also live in Germany, but I do not. I live in America. Now, since I don't want to dox myself, in my state, the age of consent is 16. When we started dating, I was 15. And during the time we were still together, Cosmo turned 20. Eventually I did turn 16 during our relationship, but this was late in and we broke up a short while after that, and going back in and out being in a relationship. So in the context of the place I was living in, I was too young to consent. Another thing he lied about that was very brief is that he told nobody about his feelings about Mark. This is a straight up lie, as he told me right after we broke up he has a crush on Ellis Mark. I don't know why he told me that, but he did, and I went ahead and told Mark, cause do I need to explain why I told him? It was so early, in fact, that he even said he developed feelings when we started dating. Mark was 16 at that time. I don't really have anything else to add on to this since I can't speak for Mark. But just don't go to Mark's socials either. Don't start interacting with him and talking about this topic to him. It makes him feel uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be known for this, so leave Mark alone too. Let's go over everything that has happened so far. He fell in love with a child and started creeping on them on social media. He sent porn to the child, which included very grotesque fetish porn and fictional porn that contained underage characters themselves. He convinced my friends that he was perfect for me and we could be a cute couple, and then lead them on to, in turn, convince me to start falling for him and being in a relationship with him. He's lied or twisted words in several of his confessions and is prone to changing his story after he's been called out, and admitted to crushing on another minor. Now, in this next part, it's mostly going to be me venting and ranting. I don't have any evidence for most of this since Cosmo deleted all the chat logs and evidence of him and me on the face of Discord and the internet as much as he humanly possibly could. I just want to point out how creepily and obsessively he talks about me in his latest confession or non-apology. He describes me as being no one like he's ever met in real life, with amazing talent and skill and sense of humor, reminiscing about the nice times he's had grooming and emotionally manipulating and abusing a young mind. Just to give an idea of what my content and internet persona was like back in the day, in case I unlist my videos, I was copying kitty dog videos and making poop jokes on a daily basis. My skills as an animator were very average at 15, and I have no idea why he had such high expectations for me, which I'll elaborate on later. Yes, I was more knowledgeable in the animation field than most people in the animation meme community, but here's the thing. In the animation meme community, which is full of very young kids making furry dance videos, my animations definitely were not higher quality than some of the more popular animators like Kitty Dog and especially Sleepy King, and certainly did not stand out at all. My artistic knowledge at the time was summed up to knowing what the 12 principles of animation were and how to use Flash. And reminder that Cosmo said to me that he found me through my animating like kitty dog video. Now maybe I'm just a huge prude and I don't see my own genius artistic sophistication, but this does not come off as standing out or being remotely above average, and neither do any of my animations do, really. Cosmo makes it seem like I was fucking Milk Call reincarnated, stuck in a child's body, when I'm literally the most average animation YouTuber ever. Most of my animations weren't even cleaned up, and people were only impressed because I tried using traditional animation techniques, unlike the rest of the animation community, which uses mostly tweening. But still then, not amazing work. It's almost like he was interested in the fact that I was very young and trying out an ambitious medium like animation at a young age. Then he goes on to describe how happy it felt when we were together, and hearing him say this and talk about me like that makes me want to vomit. Like, I don't have the words to describe my disgust. I mean, just listen to him for a moment and you should be able to see and feel why this is so wrong and gross. It's basically the whole you're so smart and developed excuse, but convoluted and elongated into several minutes. Like, this is terrifying. I genuinely have no idea how his video has such a good like to dislike ratio, and when he had comments on, he had all of these supportive comments. It's literally so disgusting, and I was horrified. Again, since Cosmo deleted all of our messages and evidence on Discord one by one, my recollection of last year is a bit fuzzy, so some of the stuff I say might not be 100% accurate. I've had a self-deprecation and imposter syndrome problem and complex for a while, but ever since I was with Cosmo, this has been increased to the full maximum. The amount of mental scarring and abuse I had to deal with from such a young and inexperienced age is probably irreversible, but I'm trying right now to heal and think rationally even if it doesn't work. You see, before Cosmo, I've never done a commission before, or at least a real one. Cosmo contacted me to make his character design and stills for his videos, first using DeviantArt points, then with real money. I asked my dad to set up a bank account for me so I can finally make real money, and I saw Cosmo as a huge opportunity to do this. But you see, since I've never taken commissions before, I had no idea how to price my work ethic, or anything for that matter. I was selling art for $15 each character with line art and color. My mom found out what prices I was selling them at and explained to me that I was underselling my work. I told Cosmo I was going to raise the price for each still, and nothing. He didn't answer me. He didn't interact with me for a while. He acted extremely distant, and when he did answer me, it was an extreme anger or passive aggressiveness towards me. This is a very common tactic he uses when he's not satisfied with what you have to say. After some arguing, he finally gave in and eventually paid the proper price for each still. Something I know for sure is that as a character artist and designer, I'm extremely bad at keeping consistency. It's still an issue I struggle with. I always draw the size of the head wrong, or forehead's too big, or oh no, now the foreheads are too small, now the arms are too long, and ooh, now the body proportions are bigger than its head. Crap, I made the line work too thick, etc., etc. Cosmo had extremely high expectations for an inexperienced me at the age of 15 and 16 who's never had a job in their life. Every time I made the slightest off-model mistake on a still, he would derail me for it and use the same left me on red for 3 days technique to guilt me for it. He'd also try to haggle commissions despite having plenty of Raid Shadows Legends and NordVPN money. Like asking for 5 stills only using $25, which were stills he didn't even need because he has all the necessary emotes to make a commentary and review video. For basically each video, he would make me do 2 to 3 more stills he doesn't need. There's also the fact that over time, an artist develops their style and changes happen without them even realizing. And here's the thing, every single time I have explained this exact thing to him. Hey, I have consistency issues in my art. Hey, I don't know how to draw this angle or expression well. Hey. And he would do the same thing. Either say something passive-aggressive and stop interacting with me for a few days, or not answer me at all for up to a week. A tactic done to repeatedly guilt me for not being good enough. But oh, such a young, talented artist that I know would get far. Fuck off. Fuck you. Go to hell. Literally, go to hell. If Cosmo was so displeased with my skills and artistic ability, he could have gotten a new artist anytime. But no. He always kept me around, even when we broke up. He makes the excuse of, oh, I only feel bad and I want to help with their financial situation, and yet tries to haggle my prices and guilts me for making my prices too high. Well, this didn't age too well, did it? Here's a smidge of the last draining remorses of our text where he was being emotionally abusive and manipulative towards me. There are also some smaller times where he would act up on his social media and send people to dogpile me over the most trivial things. He always went through my tweets, all my pages on social media, all of my videos and uploads. I know because he admitted this to me once trying to be romantic. It's super gross now. And if I said anything on Twitter he remotely didn't like, he would angrily reply to me and send his hundreds of fans on to dogpile me. A small account, especially compared to his large fan base, would get a bunch of replies and arguments, and while it certainly took the toll on my mental health, it of course was not the worst of his actions. Anyone could have made this mistake. However, the problem is he'd only apologize to me when someone he looks up to sees what he's up to and tells Cosmo to apologize to me. Because that's what happened. Only then did he go and say sorry to me and just say, oh, I'm so sorry, I did never do that again. In of course obligated kind of way. If his friends didn't tell him to, there would have been no way he would have said sorry. There was also this time... Alright, okay. I didn't mention that I designed Cosmodore's persona. It's entirely made by me. I made the design. The only thing he did was have the basic head shape of an orange circular head and some black scruffy hair. I did everything else. I created his character, essentially, and I even asked, hey, can I make my own version of your character? Because I just like having fun designing and experimenting with my characters and what I can do with them. And so I did. I made my own version of his character, where he was like a popcorn guy at a movie theater, and basically everything was the exact same, except he wore a movie theater worker like costume, and that he had a tail. And for some reason, this was extremely devastating to him, and he forcefully went into my DMs telling me to immediately delete all of my drawings that I made for myself, and told me to never draw that again. For some reason, he was so disgusted that I drew a tail on his persona that I designed, and he agreed that I could make my own version of him. But his reasoning was, I don't want people to think I'm a furry, even though he literally just collaborated with a furry that sparked your theory. Like, they were like buddy, but yet you don't give the same shit to him that you do to me, even though he's straight up a furry. And all I did was give your animalistic and anthropomorphic looking character a slightly more animalistic look that was barely even noticeable. And he railed me this for so long. He literally came into my DMs just threatening me. This is an extreme amount of stress and weight for an adult to be putting on a child. Let's say hypothetically he was right about this not being grooming or whatever, like in the recent paracynical drama, which I wrote that in the script before like the situation became insane, so I take that with a grain of salt. The paracynical drama, it's really complicated right now, but you know what I mean, right? Like, that's still literally no excuse to be emotionally attached or that's literally no excuse to be this emotionally attached to a developing mind. And I'm forever scarred and affected by this situation. There is no excuse for sending porn to minors. There is no excuse for even being romantically engaged with a minor. And now, the stalking. This gets scary. And this is why this is what I wanted to talk about the most. Months after we broke up, Cosmo would forcefully try and contact me to apologize, despite frequently blocking him and telling him to fuck off. His creepiness extends to making Discord alts and contacting fucking animation industry artists that I knew just so he could get to me. But this would not be the last time I had to deal with Cosmo. It's been proven that Cosmo has been stalking me, or at least looking through my stuff before he even met me. He said it himself. But he has been stalking me for much longer than that, and to this day, I still believe he does. This screenshot is from someone that was once close to Cosmo. I'm not revealing who they are to protect their identity. After I have left the internet to hide from him, I made new accounts and he continually stalks them. Even making sock puppet accounts to follow me. I only found one of them and blocked it, but I cannot be sure if there was more. This was one of the accounts that stalked me, and from what I know, it no longer exists. But he could be going under 1,000 aliases, and I wouldn't know which ones they are. And I can't go blocking random people willy-nilly just because I think they look suspicious. The thing is, this account used to be an alt of Cosmo, but he changed the name and removed me as a follower after we broke up, so I wouldn't be able to tell. The stuff he posted to this account were really creepy looking back, but when I followed it, it was charming and cute to me. Now when I look at it, it's extremely creepy and disgusting, and I want to throw up. I want to vomit. And you should want to vomit by reading this too. It kind of goes to show you how obsessed he was with me, and considering he's shown to still have stalked me after the fact, and for a very long time, I have much reason to believe he's still doing it to this day. He's probably following a bunch of my private and main accounts, and I can never know because he makes a huge effort to make it seem not suspicious, and it works. Every day I'm paranoid that he's spying on me and reading my vents to see if I'm talking about him, because he's still probably madly in love with me. I don't have any evidence for this, but I have reason to believe it. The way he words sentences talking about me, the mental gymnastics he pulls off to justify the situation, the fact I have to see him being brought up or mentioned to me every month or to every week, the fact he has stalked me many times, and I have complete reason to believe he still does this, makes me think he's still disgustingly in love with me, that I can be in his hands once again. I wouldn't be surprised if he felt this way about Mark too. But Cosmo ruined my life, my mental state, my reputation. I did so much just to get away from him, but he keeps trying to reel me into a spider web again. I don't know if he's just extremely unself-aware about how disgusting he is, or if he knows that this is wrong and he just decides to go with it anyway. But my point is clear. Cosmo, don't come back. Me, nor any of the other kids he acted strange towards, wants him back. He has proven himself not only to be a child groomer, but also a manipulative and untrustworthy liar. Okay, just making this in post. I forgot to mention this, so yeah, Cosmo also once lied about never seeing my face before, or never asking to see my face. That's also a lie. Yep, right here. Here's a screenshot. He done this. I sent him more pictures than this before, but this is the only actual evidence I could find. So yeah. Bye.